Okay, we're good to go.
Okay, thank you. Well, we're all ready then. Good morning, library board members and staff. I'd like to commence with the Middlesex County Library Board meeting for June the 25th, 2025. And I'm welcome everybody here, and with calling the meeting to order, I'll just have Lindsay Brock read our land acknowledgement. Lindsay?
We acknowledge that the land we stand upon today is the traditional territory of the Attawandaron, Anishtabeg, Haudenosaunee, and Lenape-Wauk peoples who have long-standing relationships to the land, water, and region of southwestern Ontario. The local First Nation communities of this area include Chippewas of the Thames First Nation, Oneida Nation of the Thames First Nation, and Munsee Delaware Nation. We acknowledge the treaties that are specific to this area: Treaty 2, McKee Purchase; Treaty 3, Between the Lakes Purchase; Treaty 6, London Township Purchase; Treaty 21, Longwoods Purchase; and Treaty 29, Huron Tract Purchase. We value the significant contributions, both in the past and present, of local and regional First Nations of Turtle Island. We acknowledge historic and ongoing injustices that Indigenous peoples endure in Canada, and we affirm our commitment to honoring Indigenous voices, nations, and cultures, and to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect.
Thank you, Lindsay. I'm going to ask if there's any provisions for disclosure of pecuniary interest or any general nature thereof. Seeing none, then we'll move on to the item 3A, which is the minutes of our May 27, 2025 meeting of the Middlesex County Library Board. Any questions or comments with respect to those minutes as presented? If not, I look for somebody, a mover and a seconder, to that the minutes of the May 27th, 2025 meeting of the Library Board be approved as presented. Moved by Sharon McMillan, seconded by Mary Gay Wilkins. Further comments? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. We'll move on to our visiting topics, and today is a summary of the library, summer of the library. Not summary, pardon me. The summer of the library presentation by Shauna Darnensky, Child and Youth Library, and Liz Edema, Public Service Coordinator. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Liz and I are delighted to be here today to introduce you to Middlesex County Library's 2025 Summer at the Library program. Next slide, please. This year, we are proud to offer 4 core summer initiatives, each tailored to specific age groups. Read in Color for preschool to grades 4, Power Up grades 5 to 8, Teen Edition for high school students, and Summer at the Library for adults. We'll also be highlighting just a few of the creative and community-driven programs happening at our branches this summer. Together, these programs do more than just fill calendars. They build community, promote lifelong learning, and help families stay connected through shared experiences. Next slide, please. Read in Color is designed for children in preschool through grade 4 and is one of the cornerstones of our summer programming this year. Each participant receives a reading booklet and is encouraged to read for at least 20 minutes a day. For every 5 days of reading, they earn a star in their booklet and a prize ballot as motivation. Completing bonus activities like attending a library program or signing up for a library card unlocks collector's badges, and you'll see an example of one on the screen, the star that says Read in Color. There are 5 themed badges for participants to earn over the summer. This program is fun and interactive, but at its core, it's about encouraging daily literacy habits. We know that summer can sometimes lead to learning loss, especially in younger readers. The Read in Color program is our direct response to the summer slide, helping children retain their reading skills and stay excited about books. It's also a family program. Reading together reinforces literacy, strengthens bonds, and models a love of learning. Next slide, please. Power Up is designed for youth in grades 5 through 8, a key age group where independent reading habits often begin to dip. Participants receive a reading tracker, and each day they read for 20 minutes, they color in one icon. Completing a row earns them a prize straw ballot. Additional ballots are earned by completing activities that go beyond reading, like playing a board game, creating art, or participating in a library program. This age group is starting to explore their identity, creativity, and interests, and Power Up supports that exploration through reading and hands-on activities. Next slide, please. Our Teen Edition program is geared toward high school students and focuses on challenge-based participation. Teens register and complete a set of book-based challenges, such as reading a book by a Canadian author, making art using song lyrics, or participating in a library program. Each completed challenge earns a ballot for a system-wide prize draw. At the end of the summer, 2 winners will be randomly selected for grand prizes. This program is designed to meet teens where they are, helping them engage with the library on their own terms while still promoting literacy, critical thinking, and creative expression. Next slide, please.
So Summer for Adults includes everyone ages 18 and up and is a fun and easy way to join in the summer fun. The participants read for 20 minutes a day, and then they color in a starfish for each day that they've read. When they've completed 10 starfish, they hand in their ballot bookmark and they get a new one. At the end of the summer, we have 2 winners who will be randomly selected for the grand prizes. So reading is fun for all ages, and from it we encounter new perspectives and viewpoints, lifelong learning, and modeling good reading habits for the children and youth in our lives.
Next slide, please. All 15 Middlesex County Library branches have worked incredibly hard to create engaging, interactive, and creative programs for all ages. This summer, 2 of our talented staff are taking their programs on the road, traveling to multiple branches to share their ideas with our local communities. Here are just a few standout programs from the many amazing events that have been planned in our branches. At Elsa Craig, kids will become secret agents in Summer Spy School, where they'll crack codes and build their own gadgets. In Coldstream, Music in the Garden is back by popular demand, and it will connect local talent and families through live music and community spirit. At Delaware, a staff-designed outdoor capture the flag style game with Nerf gear adds physical activity and teamwork to our programming. Next slide, please. At Dorchester, families will enjoy a calming and joyful visit from St. John Ambulance Therapy Dogs. In Glencoe, the Reading Buddies program pairs children ages 4 to 9 with youth volunteers for reading and fun, fostering both literacy and mentorship. This is the 2nd year that this program is being offered and is greatly appreciated by parents and caregivers in the Glencoe community. In Ilderton, our Old Tech New Ideas program invites children to creatively repurpose outdated technology. It's a free-thinking, free-building activity traveling to several branches this summer. Next slide, please. In Kamoka at Country Terrace, seniors will enjoy weekly read-alouds of a chapter book, reconnecting them with the magic of storytelling.
In Lucan, building on the success of last year, families of all ages and level of experience can battle it out with the summer learning program's Super Smash Brothers tournament. In Melbourne, calming and sensory bottles can be used to soothe and provide calm during a busy day. Participants will build their own bottle to take home and use at home at school. Next slide, please. Children will test their agility, speed, creativity, and problem-solving skills to see who is the greatest of all time at this outdoor obstacle course. In Newbury, a modification on an escape room to fit the branch's size has a Camp Half-Blood theme, and youth will be challenged to solve a series of clues to unlock boxes and claim their prize. In Park Hill, the Charcuterie Challenge, youth are going to learn how to make charcuterie boards, embracing their creativity and design, and having a fun, friendly competition. Next slide, please. In Strathroy, Minecraft fans will build items using raw materials, including a pickaxe, diamond sword, and a working bench. In Thorndale, participants will create a new constellation or place an emoji among the stars in this program. And finally, in Wardsville, participants will celebrate summer by creating a bobalicious tree. Next slide, please.
I think that's the last slide. That's okay.
Oh,
You
that
can
is
stay
one.
on.
My
Yeah,
apologies.
that's okay. Registration for summer at the library officially opens this Friday, June 27th, the first day of summer break for students. And the energy in our branches is building. Staff across the county are finalizing the creative, high-quality programs we shared about today. This isn't just about keeping kids busy. It's about creating meaningful opportunities for families to connect, for children to retain and grow their literacy skills, and for our libraries to serve as welcoming, enriching spaces for all ages during the summer months. Through reading challenges, interactive programs, and family-focused events, we're helping children maintain academic momentum, build confidence, and cultivate a love of learning that lasts long beyond August.
We're also seeing more families participate together. Parents, grandparents, siblings, all reading, playing, and learning side by side. This multi-generational involvement is one of the most rewarding aspects of summer programming, and it really boosts our literacy outcomes. Our branch staff, thank you for your continued support of our summer programs, and we're looking forward to a busy summer promoting reading and creating memories.
Okay, I just want to take the opportunity because I just say that the library board, we do appreciate the efforts and thoughts that that are put into this summer program. And I'm going to open up to any questions or comments with respect to this program from any of our members. I'll go with Sharon McMillan.
I just wanted to congratulate the members of the library staff. That's a great looking program. I know if I had little ones around, I would be trying to take advantage of some of them. So thanks. It's a great program. Hope it goes really well this summer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions with respect to that? Okay, well, both Sean and Liz, I appreciate that presentation, and we'll move on. I'm looking for a mover and a seconder that the summer at the library presentation be received for information. Moved by Sharon McMillan, second by Ruth Adams. Any further comments? All in favor? It's carried. Thanks again for that presentation and good luck with your program.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll move on to item 5A, which is an action item of policy review, safety of children in the library. Report from Lindsay Brock, our Director of Library Services. Lindsay?
Hey, Mr. Chair. So if you remember back to last year in May, the library board did approve our new safety, what was then new, the safety of children in the library policy. And so we've had a year of implementation and learning, what gaps might be in the policy. So that's why I'm bringing it back today to address some of those gaps. So the current policy focuses primarily on unattended children. It was especially useful at this time when we're ramping up for summer programming. And the policy speaks to the responsibility of all parties, for children in the library. So both library staff responsibility and parents or caregivers. What we've seen is that library staff may encounter situations where children are in the care of a parent, guardian, or caregiver, so they're not always unattended, but where safety is still a concern. So to help staff manage situations of that nature, the purpose, scope, and some elements of the policy have been edited to refer to safety in those terms. So kind of broadening the application a little bit more. And this was based on a couple incidents that have happened over the year that staff have managed, and their feedback. It's always important when we kind of debrief on situations that we have been referring back to the policy and getting that feedback from staff to know how we can improve it to better support the work that they have to do. And so those edits are in the policy that's before you, and they also include information to support a bit of a risk assessment process because any policy can't encompass every situation. And especially when we're dealing with the public and children, there are a lot of gray areas. A lot of situations aren't black and white. So we do rely on staff to use their judgment and their experience when they're managing these situations, but wanted to kind of add some elements to the policy that will help with that process. So the current policy with the proposed edits is attached to this report. You would see those edits are in red to make it a little more clear about what we're adding. And I'm happy to answer any questions about the revised policy.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay. I noticed the edits, and I just want to say that this was quite a discussion that with respect to this topic that was at the library conference, and it was quite a few concerns, I want to say, from the Toronto Library, as where most of the feedback came from. But I was glad to see that we didn't just leave it on the shelf, and we've updated it to bring it so that everyone in Middlesex will feel comfortable with it. So I'm going to ask, is there any comments or questions on this report? Well, if there are none, then I look for a mover and a seconder that the policy reviewed, safety of children, and the library report be received for information, and the library board approve the updates to the safety of children and the library policy, and the Middlesex County Library Policy Manual be updated to reflect this review. Mary Gay Wilkins, mover, seconded Ruth Adams. Further comments or questions on this? Seeing none, all in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Now we'll move on to policy review, library room bookings, a report from Lindsay Brock, Director of Library Services. Lindsay?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a rework, a revision of a current policy that we have in place. So the current policy, library program rooms, has been in place for a number of years. So we were just revising it to fit into the new structure of our policies, but making revisions to reflect both our new spaces that may not have been included in that original policy, our new online room booking system and the process that goes along with that. And we've also included an option for local authors that I'll speak to. So main objectives for this revised library room bookings policy are to provide fair and equitable access to the service and to maintain a welcoming, supportive, and safe environment for everyone. Revisions to the policy are as follows. So the purpose section language has been reworked to include all of those different library spaces. So we have library program rooms, we have bookable offices that are used by service partners and by the public, we have study rooms, and then we also have our creative or maker spaces. We have a couple fully equipped rooms like that around the county. We've added a scope section. The policy statement has been added to provide the information that applies to all spaces, including rules for use. So standard information that can be applied to all of our library spaces. The program room section has been edited to reflect the current online booking process. When a member of the public or a partner organization, they can go to our website and they can initiate those bookings by themselves. They previously, they had to fill out a manual form and submit it to the supervisor. They would then have to approve it, and there would often be a lot of back and forth. And now with our booking system, people can see when the rooms are available, book up to 90 days in advance, manage those bookings themselves, and see how the rooms are equipped. So it's been a really effective tool for staff to manage those spaces. So information about that process has been added into the policy. And then we've also added a provision for use by local authors. So in the past, when the policy has stated that library rooms, program rooms can't be used for personal events, and they also can't be used in relation to someone's personal business. So following those guidelines, when a local author may have approached us in the past wanting to hold their book launch in a library program room and wanting to sell books, unfortunately, it didn't meet those parameters. We're not overwhelmed with those requests, but it always felt a little strange that a library couldn't accommodate those requests. So we've added into the policy that in order to support local authors, which we do have quite a few in the county, that those bookings will be allowed and local authors will be able to sell their books when they have booked the program room. So it wouldn't necessarily be a library program. In some cases, we could partner with a local author, but if that wasn't something that the library was able to accommodate, local author could book the program room, hold their book launch in a library space where it makes sense to support literacy and sell their books. So that new element is included in this policy revision. And then under the offices, spaces, and pods section, that section has been added to the policy to reflect how these spaces can be used. And again, that current online booking process. So all of our spaces are reflected in this policy, whereas in the previous policy, it focused mostly on program rooms and the booking process that went along with that. And a couple related documents have been added as well to support areas of the policy. Just going to confirm which ones. So we've added related documents include the code of conduct policy. Obviously, that applies to all of our spaces and anyone using them. Library and political elections policy. There is an element of this policy that does speak to how our program rooms could be booked during an election period. But it refers to that more fulsome policy on its own. Community information policy, and then refers to the Ontario Human Rights Code and Criminal Code of Canada. So again, these changes are designed to support use of bookable library spaces, which are incredibly popular and well used across the system, and they align with our online booking system program. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Hey, yeah, I'm going to open up any questions, but just because I know there's a discussion when we were putting programming rooms onto the comprehensive libraries, and we were expanding them and allowing that to happen. And I've got a question: is like, because I read of how the rooms are used and then how it's supposed to be left. And I haven't ever seen any problem any place or brought up any problem about how the rooms are left. So everybody's satisfied with how that policy is working with respect to that our staff doesn't going to clean up or anything after.
Yeah, that's a great question for you, Mr. Chair. To the board, I think we have very few situations where rooms are left, with garbage or damaged in any way. And, through the booking process, even our previous process, we know a lot about what groups and people are booking the spaces, what activity is going to be happening in them. The fact that we don't allow things like birthday parties and wedding showers and those sorts of things means that risk is very minimal. So we've been very lucky that hasn't been an issue.
Okay, good. Thank you. And I'm glad to see that, like, we're trying to streamline the booking policy so there's no confusion with anybody thinking they've got it because they talked to somebody and didn't get the right information. But that's good. So I'm going to ask, is there any questions or comments with respect to this policy? This update? Okay, if not, then I don't see anybody with a question. Then I'm going to ask for a motion that the policy review, the library room bookings report be received for information and the library board approval. The updates to the library board booking policy and the Middlesex County Library Policy Manual be updated to reflect this review. Look for a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Sharon McMillan, seconded by Ruth Adams. Any further comments or questions on this? Okay, then all in favor? That's carried. Thank you, Lindsay. We'll move on to item number 6, the correspondence and information. If anybody's got any questions on this, and then I'm going to, I'll try to catch your hand going up, and we'll stop in time to bring them up, and Lindsay's going to speak on a couple of them. So 6A is the system circulation 2025 back to 2024. The system's internet from 2025 back to 2024. Then the library activity report, a report from Lindsay Brock, Director of Library Services. Lindsay, you want to comment on this one, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to point out a few items, bring them to your attention. So we are celebrating Middlesex County's 225th anniversary this year, and working with the county, with the Legislative Services Department in particular. Their staff are really leading the way on this project, with the library supporting in whatever way we can. So library staff are working to pull together some historical facts and images to help with the social media campaign that's going to happen over the summer. And so we have a couple summer students working on this right now who have been really helpful. And as well, that wasn't mentioned here. So there was a tree planting ceremony with the warden, and we'll be helping to hand out seedlings from the Park Hill and Elsa Craig libraries on Friday. So it's a bit of a first come, first serve situation. So there'll be, I think, 50 at Elsa Craig, and the rest, I can't do math, 175 maybe, I think, at Park Hill. And so, especially with that being the first day of our summer at the library program, we're looking forward to handing those out to people and families who come in. The Community Volunteer Income Tax Program. So this is a really well-used service that is run out of a few of our branches. So we have it operating in Strathroy, Park Hill, and Lucan. This is a program that has been completely managed by volunteers, and really in previous years, before 2024, they were just using our space, and we were kind of that was our role in the partnership. And those volunteers partnered with another organization. It might be a church or a Salvation Army, something like that, in order to access this CVITP grant. And then beginning last year, those volunteers kind of transitioned, and the library supported them by accessing this grant on their behalf. So that worked really well for the 2024-2025 tax season. The grant, it just helps offset those costs that they have for supplies and space and mileage and things like that. Amazing volunteers that run this program, and they're so busy during tax season. It's great to see. The funding formula has changed for this 2025-2026 period. So we have to submit the number of returns that were processed in the previous year. I've done that for the Strathroy Clinic, and the Lucan and Park Hill volunteers are working on that themselves. So we'll just have to see what happens this year, because there have been some changes, and we do anticipate a reduction in funding. Now, obviously, running these clinics out of the library costs are minimal. We can help manage that, but we will be working with the volunteers to hopefully maintain these clinics because they are so well used. Just a note about our Health and Safety Committee. So the library sits on the Joint Health and Safety Committee with the County Administration Building. We had a vacancy of the co-chair position, and the committee nominated Leslie Ann Steeper-Dockstader, the supervisor of the Coldstream branch, as the other co-chair. So myself and Leslie Ann, the library, we try not to dominate these meetings, but we'll be the co-chairs moving forward, and look forward to supporting health and safety across the county in that capacity. Then there were just a couple the topics that we discussed at our last meeting. So planning more first aid training in the fall. Ticks are a bit of an issue this year in some of our branches and outdoor spaces. So we are working with John Elston and with the health unit to help make sure that staff have supplies and that awareness of safe practices when we're working outside. And we also completed a review of the committee's terms of reference at our last meeting. And then I wanted to point out our connection with the Super Aging Research Initiative out of Western University. So this is something that Liz is very knowledgeable on this as well. She arranged for Dr. Angela Roberts to speak at our last supervisors meeting there at the beginning of June to help discuss this research project and the important role that libraries can play. So Dr. Roberts began the conversation with the question, how can libraries focus programming across the lifespan, and how can her team support us? So in this report, it goes into what defines a super ager, and more information can be found online, and I'm happy to share links to their project as well. Dr. Roberts spoke a lot about ageism and the impact on older adults and how they are perceived and welcomed into communities, and the role that libraries can play to help ensure that older adults and this super ager community are supported, and there is that social engagement that's so important. So library staff will be using this super aging project and this kind of partnership and connection with this research initiative as we plan services and programs for older adults. In particular, as we're looking at our new strategic plan, making plans for the next 5 years, looking ahead to budgets over the next few years, and especially how our structure can help support this type of programming. We have a lot of supports within our organizational structure, particularly for that 0 to 6 age range, and even 0 to 15 or 18, I would say. And now we can see that with this increasing population at the other end of our lifespan, that we need to be thinking about how we're supporting that programming and those services to older adults, both within the programs that we're running, but also within our organizational structure. So that's something that'll be an ongoing conversation that we'll be coming back to as a board. So I just wanted to draw your attention to this research initiative. And supervisors, there was such a great reaction to this presentation. They were all so interested and engaged and really excited to help apply this learning and use this connection to Dr. Angela Roberts when they're thinking about their programs. And I will just draw your attention to one thing that's not in the report, but is later in the agenda, is that this is National Indigenous History Month. We're coming to the end of June, and that our Tales and Trails for the month did highlight National Indigenous History Month. So the content of the trails was primarily created by Emily, who's one of our summer students. She's been working with us for a number of years. She's actually going on to do her master's in library and information science in September. So we're very happy that, I guess we showed libraries in a good light, and she's decided that's what she wants to do for her career. So we're really excited to have her again this summer. So on those trails, you will learn more about National Indigenous History Month and National Indigenous Peoples Day, land acknowledgements, First Nations, Inuit, and Métis in Canada, local events, stories of Indigenous trailblazers, and resources for more information. So I just wanted to draw your attention to that. And then there were a few programs, and Liz and Shauna touched on a couple of the ones that I mentioned. So we just had a Strathroy Pride story time last weekend that was really successful. It was a bit of a rainy day, but I think it went very well. So that was a partnership with the Strathroy Pride organization. There's a Wardsville Museum exhibit with Ken Willis, who is a very well-known local historian in the area. That's tonight, actually, or today, 3 to 7 p.m. Summer at the Library launch, like Liz and Shauna said, that's launching on Friday. Glencoe Book Buddies, they talked about that. And then we have another Pride Story Time. So this one in Dorchester on July 5th, partnering with the Thames Center Pride activities that are happening that weekend as well. That's all I have.
Okay, before I move on, I'm going to ask if anybody's had any questions with respect to Lindsay's report instead of coming back to it. But first of all, the Tales and Trails, I just saw it over here in Dorchester last night when I was over in the park, and it looks good. I never had the opportunity to read them all because I had a young guy with me that kept pulling me along. But anyhow, it looks like it's well presented, and I was glad to see it was up and running. I want to say so early, so good. Any questions then with Mary Gay, go ahead.
Thank you. Lindsay, is there any chance if the grant is successful again for the tax program, it could be expanded?
It has been community driven, so that's definitely something that I can work with Courtney to kind of start inquiring about whether there might be, and other supervisors in other municipalities about whether it could be something that could expand beyond those 3 municipalities. I know in Thames Center that they've also run a really successful one. It's been geared, I think, primarily to seniors. And the library it wasn't done out of the library space, but I know that has been functioning for a number of years as well. So like I said, we've just kind of been on the periphery for a number of years, but now that we are helping to manage these clinics a little bit more, yeah, I can definitely we can put some feelers out to see if it's something that we can help expand.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, probably with Thames Center. That's running because of the leadership in Thames Center. So I'll just point that out.
Sorry to say, Mr. Chair, but this is my first awareness of it. So thanks to the library board, I learned so many things.
Okay. No other questions then for Lindsay, then I'm going to move on. If anybody's or you want to make any comments further on, Lindsay, just let me know, please. But we're dealing with 6D, which is the Middlesex banner, May 14, 2025, with Zalukan Badolf Mayor shared her lessons. And 6E, which is commented on already, Tales and Trails of National Indigenous History Month. And 6F is Ontario Library Association Strategic Plan. Any questions on that? We discussed it last meeting. Okay. Next is 6G Middlesex early on, June calendar. 6H is Messy Sensory Play in June. And 6I, Sensor Seeking Strathroy in June. There's no questions or with any of those correspondence and information items. I'd look for a mover and seconder that items 6A to 6I be received for information. Moved by Ruth, seconded by Sharon McMillan. Any further comments? All in favor? That's carried. Okay, and any inquiries? I just got one. I just want to, because I haven't heard anything on it, so I assume it's all done. But Melbourne's satisfactory now with the issue they had with regard to the services.
Yes. So yeah, things are back up and running, and we're just working on kind of a new process of communication with the municipality. Courtney's got a bit of a chart going. She's going to send weekly updates, just so that it's not just sending one-off emails with no kind of paper trail. So working on a new strategy there, but yep, so far so good.
Okay, I know you'd get it corrected. Thank you. Any other inquiries? Seeing none, then I move on to new business. 6A, our next meeting is Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025, and then we have Tuesday, October 21st, and Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. Is there any other new business? So then seeing none, I'll move to the bylaws. Bylaw 9A, number 49, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of May 27th, 2025 meeting of the Middlesex Library Board.
Sorry, and I'll
Sorry,
correct.
shouldn't that be corrected?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll correct that date.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that'll be for the June, today's date, June 25th, 2025. So I look for a first and second reading of that bylaw. Moved by Ruth, seconded by Sharon. Further comments, all in favor? I look for a third and final reading of that bylaw. Moved by Mary Gay, seconded by Sharon. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Now, item 10, no other business for the County of Middlesex Library Board. I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Ruth and seconded by Mary Gay. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you very much. I hope everybody has a good summer and busy summer. And I know that